Hello, I'm Dr. Scott Wadier.
And I'm Tommy Welling, and you're listening to the Fasting for Life podcast.
This podcast is about using fasting as a tool to regain your health, achieve ultimate wellness, and live the life you truly deserve.
Each episode is a short conversation on a single topic with immediate actionable steps. We cover everything from fat loss and health and wellness to the science of lifestyle design.
We started Fasting for Life because of how fasting has transformed our lives, and we hope to share the tools that we have learned along the way. Hey everyone, my name is Dr. Scott Wadier. I am here as always with my good friend and colleague Tommy Welling. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Scott. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. We made it another week. The world has not ended. So
No, it's still here.
We are here to deliver some more value and really just continue the conversation with what we've had going from last week, which I will admit scratched an itch that I typically have when it comes to the field of science and nutrition, because I think we had 107 research links to all of the articles that we were talking about, not just, news articles, but journal articles. And I think I'm good for a while because that was pretty heavy.
Yeah, we got a little dense there, but I think it was good. I think we hit on some good topics that were on people's mind. We got some good feedback. We seemed to answer some questions and kind of get above the fray. And I think a lot of people were looking for that. And so I think that was good.
Yeah, I went into it thinking that was one of the longer preps we've had too, just peek behind the curtain. And I went into it thinking, all right, we're going to deliver this. It's going to be actionable. And really what I heard more in terms of feedback was more of the kind of just the tone and the vibe. I know you're going to laugh when I say the word tone. The tone and the vibe of it was just different, where even my wife was like, you just sounded different. And I was like, well, yeah, it was different than what we typically do. But it still got a very similar conversational result. I'm not sure if that's the same thing you felt.
Yeah, I felt like, I don't know, it definitely sounded different. It felt different, but at the same time, it was one of those things where, we went back and forth. Should we do something, relevant to the pandemic,
Right.
and the fear that's out there, and just, trying to get a pulse on what's on people's minds and how it's related to our goals and our fasting and just lifestyle wise. And there were just too many overlapping points with our main teaching objectives to ignore it. So I think it was good that we talked about it.
I agree. And if you guys haven't listened to it, go back and listen. We talked about fasting and immunity, which obviously is pretty important these days. We talked about vitamin D, humidity levels, a whole bunch of just awesome stuff. So go back, take a listen. And then this week, we're going to be talking and kind of furthering the conversation a little bit, but talking about control. And if there are any other drivers or type A personalities, or there's so many different indexes and personality types out there, but if you're the driver, the person that's the kind of the get stuff done kind of person, who doesn't want to have control? And right now, with everything that we've got going on, there's a lot of things that you've lost control of. So we really want to talk about how to be in control of what you can control, and then, kind of look back and learn from things you've done in the past and, AKA learn from history. But then to further it and take it to the next level would be to simplify and then lead. So to really be able to grow through this, where we have more time, but we have less control. So we want to kind of hit on the points where, there are things that you can do day to day that give you the control that, can hopefully return some things to normalcy within your little bubble while we kind of wait this thing out.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause there's a lot of different things that are changing. We go to the grocery store, it's different experience. You're trying to coordinate, can we do curbside or delivery or something, or what are they going to be out of? We're having to make changes in our day-to-day, what we're eating. in our preparation. Schedules are different. People are working from home. Childcare is closed. All kinds of little changes like that. But that doesn't mean that we have to lose control. Everywhere we can find good opportunities to actually use this as increased time and resources and effort towards our goals, including our fasting goals. Just looking around the street the last couple of weeks, I've seen more people doing projects, getting outside more.
It's
Um,
crazy. The
yeah,
people on the sidewalks, there's like groups of people running and walking dogs and riding bikes. I'm like, what do
yeah,
they do all the rest of the time?
right.
Like,
They're not doing that because
where are
like
they?
people you've never seen before
Yeah.
outside. But it's great. I mean, there are opportunities too. Just like if the stock market takes a dip, it might be a buying opportunity for some people. If there are things to find in this kind of environment.
And it really begins for me with control of my emotions. So I tend to be an emotional person in terms of getting excited about things. So I'm the guy who wants to be shouting from the mountaintops, like, let fasting save your life, reverse your diabetes, get off your medications, save your grandpa. Like, I'm the guy who just wants to, start. I get like excited and fired up about it. And
Yeah, preach.
yeah, I'm not going down that rabbit hole tonight. Don't bait me. So it'll probably come out anyway. But it's really you have an emotional response to something, and you have two choices: either you let the emotion consume you, or you acknowledge it, keep calm, and then carry on. So especially with all of these social inputs in terms of technology that we have, and the crazy 24-hour news cycle and mainstream media and all of this, like, there's a lot of things that you can hear and read and listen to, and conversations that people are having on social media, keyboard warriors and all that stuff, that can easily send me down a spiral. And it's taken a long time for me to acknowledge that and say, no, 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 no. Normally I'd give into this, or back in the day I'd give into this because I've learned from history. We'll talk about that in a second. And I'm like, no, I get it. I'm not having this conversation, and I'm just going to move on. And when I do that, I keep my routine simple. Like today, I must have listened to 10 podcasts. I love
Oh,
listening. I
wow.
sat out back and I read. The pups were in the backyard. Sun was shining.
Hmm.
Um, we're still doing our park trips. I've actually taken the dogs more frequently. Listen to music. I had music on in the house. So I kept my routine simple, and I went back to doing what I know keeps me kind of between the goalposts,
Yeah.
rather than, start typing away and contribute to the chaos.
So focusing on what you had control over, keeping your bubble smaller, and not letting those outside factors influence you and derail you. Is that right?
100%. Yeah,
Okay.
100%. I've seen so many memes that are like, day one of, shelter in home, I'm going to do a workout, I'm going to eat right. And then day 4, I literally poured the ice cream on the pasta. Like, you know what I mean? Like, people just like making jokes that, they're on day 4 and they had this grand plan. It's like,
Oh man.
no, yeah, no, no, no. I mean, that sounds amazing, but no. Like an elf, 4 favorite food
Oh yeah.
groups. Yeah.
Yep.
Syrup's a food group. But I look at it, I'm like, yeah, exactly. So I went back to, okay, what are we doing? What are we having for dinner? Okay, let me pull out the ground turkey. And I didn't eat. I waited for dinner. I was home all day, working from home. I literally could have been snacking. I could have, eaten the my daughter's snacks, which are much better than mine. And I just didn't. I was like, no, I'm sticking to this. It's not going to get me today. And
Yeah.
that's part of the control and the simplicity and the habits. And it takes time to do that. And by no means am I perfect, because I've pasta and ice cream sound great,
Yeah.
right?
Of course. Yeah. I mean, similarly, we went out. We had an anniversary the other day, my wife and I, and um, my plan was before that to do one meal a day, several days before that, and then after that, um, do a 48-hour fast, and then follow that up with a couple of 24s before I did something a little bit longer. So that's my plan. I've been sticking to probably about 90 to 95%. It's been good and it's been effective. and I'm not as worried about, how much meat's in the freezer, because I know I'm not going to be eating as much of it, and the food's lasting a little longer, and I'm still getting towards my goals that I've been planning for. And as I'm hitting my own goals, that means everything else that I'm trying to achieve during the day, stays on track. I'm not mentally derailed because I feel like I fell off of my fat loss wagon,
Right.
which is easy to do, especially when all these things start changing at once.
And it's interesting too, because two things there. One, when we got together earlier this weekend, end of last week, I can't remember, all the days are blending together, but you had told a story that you had eaten during the day, which typically you wouldn't eat lunch, but then you decided, well, I'm not going to change my plans tonight, but that doesn't mean I have to go and get another meal.
Yeah,
So
right.
you easily worked it in, and you literally, like, I was standing in the kitchen, I'm like, dang it, Tommy did it again, leading by example. Like, I was in the moment, I was like, man,
Sorry about that.
no, it's all right. But I've been sticking to it since. So 95%. But even in those moments, I'm like, yep, it's perfect. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we don't want to pour gas on the fire. We want to, stick to our simplicity and our habits. And, you know, I know personally in my household, if mom or dad are having a tough day or a stressful day, it
Mm-hmm.
throws everybody else off. So if you can stay between the goalposts, especially when there's a lot more interaction on a day-to-day basis when everybody's home.
True. Yeah.
You
Tensions
know,
are higher.
it's like just recognize it, acknowledge it, and carry on. So I thought that was pretty cool, and it relates directly to fasting, which is, our goal is to incorporate this and give you back control and simplicity, just like we've gotten.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to try not to get too preachy, but you remember
Good
during
luck.
past, yeah, during past cycles of eat less, move more, where where you kind of messed up. Let's say maybe it was by like a Wednesday, you had a date night or something. You'd gone strong from Monday, after the previous binge weekend. You went strong Monday, Tuesday, and then by Wednesday came around, and then you slipped. You were supposed to be counting those carbs or counting those calories, and then you slipped, right?
No, I've never done that. I don't know what you're
No,
talking
you
about.
never done it. Okay,
No,
okay.
no, no.
Well,
Go
sorry
ahead.
about that. I'm
Continue.
barking up
Yeah.
the wrong
Let me
tree
let
here.
me let me
Okay.
get you a bigger box to stand on. Go ahead.
Well, maybe I'm just talking to my talking for myself here, but you get derailed by Wednesday, and then all of a sudden, here came the weekend early. You might have been planning on wings on Friday or Saturday night or something like that, and then all of a sudden Wednesday turns into the weekend because you messed up and you said, okay, well, I'll get back on the train by next Monday. Where fasting is so different than that. And one little a quote unquote slip up or feeling like you got derailed, and then by the next day you're right back on one meal a day, or you're on 16 and 8, or you're doing a 48-hour fast. Whatever your plan is,
Right.
you're right back on track. There's no waiting, there's no Monday recovery, anything like that. You're just right back on track.
And that's the cool thing. That was I think it led right into the second point that we wanted to talk about, was learning from history. So
Mm-hmm.
just like everything else that's going around us with the pandemics and the economic downturns, like everything goes down, but then it comes back up. Like right now, the market's down, but mortgages are also down. So that's actually a benefit to certain people in a certain industry. So
Yeah.
what are the positives? What can you take out of it? Where is that positivity? Where is that win that you can celebrate? And that is in the fact that, you have the ability to learn from history and learn from your previous mistakes. So before the weekend comes early, I would have just said, you know what, forget the weekend. Let's go. Slide down the hill together. All right.
Right.
But now it was like, well, no, I've got this, because I don't have to worry about the tracking and the weighing and the 15 hours in the gym, and
Yeah.
that I have to add in the next week, which is such a broken model with the whole
Right.
calories in, calories out workout. And I'm speaking from experience. So I'm definitely been doing this for years with no limited short term and no long term success. So
Mm-hmm.
really just kind of reflect on what is everything that's going around us, but what is it that you can take out of it to make it positive now. And I think a lot of people that I see in the community that are outdoors, I'm like, man, that's huge. Because typically, where are they? They're either at work behind a screen or, um, you know,
They're pretty
after
much just
dinner.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just that. Like, I don't even know how to answer that question. So, yeah,
They're still behind a screen
yeah,
usually. Right.
yeah, right. So,
Maybe a
um,
different screen or maybe the same one, but
and just like the bad meal, when you feel bad the next day, like this too shall pass. Like, we're going to come out of it. We're going to be stronger. We're going to have more control. But for now, put your arms around the people in your little circle that you have influence over and just focus on that and focus on staying consistent. And it'll be so worth it.
yeah, I mean, absolutely. And speaking of your little circle, when you find yourself gaining control through fasting and through looking for those opportunities that aren't always there, but in a weird situation like we have now, um, you find yourself in the middle of some unique opportunities. Think about those chances that you have now to lead others through your control when you're the calm in the storm, and people can lean on you for some stability, some support, for kind of that rare but needed positive outlook. When everything that they're getting is negative, you immediately become a leader in that circle. um, and fasting only helps to support that. You have more energy there. Your overall outlook is better because you're still, like you said, Scott, between the goalposts.
Right.
You're hitting your goals, your focus is there, and you're not getting derailed from other important things. So you tend to be a rock for other people, right?
Yeah. And it's not easy being that person in the beginning, but it's like anything. Um, it actually feels good once you can do it a few times and you pull it off and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay. This actually feels really good because I've control, but now I've also impacted other people in a positive way. So, um, and when crisis hits, like when crazy stuff happens, when you have loss, you have death, you have divorce, you have pandemics, whenever you have those negative things, that's when a lot of people will give in to those emotional responses and emotional stresses.
Hmm.
So, looking back, we've had some family. My wife has lost quite a bit of family over the last 18 months. And, when crisis hits, like nothing else really seems to matter. If your car caught on fire and you had to get to the job interview of your life tomorrow, or someone got sick and you had to travel to see them before they may pass, or like you have that hardship or that loss, you know, simplify, because there's power in simplification, like putting on the blinders and just, I'm not saying being ignorant or dumb to it, like just ignoring it, like sticking your head in the sand, because
Right.
it's going to come back and bite you. I mean, you can probably talk to the psychological ramifications of that. But, uh, you know, like simplification, and that's something that we preach with fasting too, is it's so simple that it's empowering. So when there's chaos, when there's loss, when there's crisis, however you want to categorize it, and I'm not talking about eating the donut over the apple. Like I mean, like real life stuff here. Just simplify what's going on around you and get back to your basics. Get back to your habits. Get back to your routine. Get back to your small circle of influence, or people that have mentors or whatever it is, family, friends that are your core group, and really just be in that moment with them and just think about it. Like if you were starting over, what would you do? Right? Who would you do it
Hmm.
with? And what habits or routines would you change? Like if we're in a crisis and this thing lasts for a while, like if when we come out on the other side, like what are you going to do? Who are you going to do it with? And what habits and routines would you change so you don't end up in the same spot? And this goes directly back to the yo-yo dieting, the fad dining, the I'm going to start tomorrow, the New Year's resolutions, the same old thing over and over and over again. Like it's the same habits, the same pattern. All you got to do is acknowledge it, stay calm, and break it. And you talked about planning. So, like, what things I can do now to plan to be successful?
Yeah, and I mean that was actually one of our action steps for the week is take a little bit of control over your plan. Um, you have a lot of things coming at you. You have a lot of news sources and friends and family with questions and fear and just a lot of things coming your way. Take back a little bit of control. Think about your week and put a plan to it. If something changes and it doesn't go exactly as planned, that's okay. 90%, 95% is still going to get you to where you want to be. And you're going to find yourself to be that calm in the storm and a rock for yourself and for your family and for everyone around you.
Yeah, and we were going to talk a little bit about the benefits of fasting and the benefits on adaptive and innate immune systems, and we're not even going to go down that path right now because
let's keep it simple.
Yeah, man. Because I'm like, no, get out of that. No, I don't need it anymore. Last week's got plenty of
that.
it.
Yeah,
we did that. Yeah, we killed it.
Go back and listen last week.
I'm virtually patting you on the back.
Oh yeah, thank you.
So it no. Okay, you didn't do it back. That's cool. So action steps, control what you control, as Tommy just went through, is plan. It's empowering. It's simple. And the one thing that we're going to ask you this week as we kind of wrap this up is please give us a rating and a comment. We really want your feedback. We truly want this to be conversational. And we're coming up with some new cool behind the scenes things where you can leave us messages. And we want to just continue the communication at The Fasting for Life on Facebook, info at The Fasting for Life in email. The podcast, you're listening to it. You already know where it is. So give us a rate, but we're going to ask you to share it to somebody. And hopefully these last few conversations that we've had, Tommy, can have some impact in, in calming the storm and calming the chaos and giving some control and some power back to the individual. And we're not, I can relate that to long-term health goals and decreasing your cholesterol medication and coming off your diabetes medicine and increasing the longevity of your life and literally the length of your genetic telomere. So you live longer and healthier. But really the point is, like, in this time, someone else probably needs to hear an outside perspective, and hopefully we can give them some value too. So just rate us, and then we're going to ask that you share.
Absolutely. Lead somebody else to us and to some good advice that you've found to be helpful. If you found anything that we've said helpful, you probably know somebody else who would do the same. So send us a link. And if you're not sure how to do that, then send us a message and we'll help you do it.
Yep. I'll let Tommy handle that one because I'd probably give you the wrong directions. Anyway, sometimes I feel like I have to text you, be like, hey, where is this thing? And you just send me this link and it appears on my phone. It's glorious.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. So I'll kind of close up with this. Jim Rohn is somebody that I've always listened to. And Tommy, I think you're on the same page here.
Yeah,
I didn't tell you I was going to bring this up. It just kind of came to me on the fly. So welcome to this podcast. He gives it was a talk, a PDF, a video. He's given this talk multiple times, but it's the seasons of life.
Mm-hmm.
And he talks about, we cannot change that winter is coming. I'm paraphrasing because I don't have this in front of me, but we can't change that winter is coming in the seasons of life, but we can get stronger in anticipation that winter is on its way. So
wow.
The seasons are coming. We're in an odd season right now, but we have the tools and we are prepared to handle this and to come out on the other side even stronger. And when we're sitting in summer, a few months from now, and this is all behind us, it's looking back on it, we're going to be able to say, okay, winter came quick. I didn't see it coming, but guess what? Next time I'm going to be ready. And the next time might be 30 pounds less. It might be off the medication. It might be, the energy to take your grandkids to their games again. Whatever that looks like, you're going to be better, stronger, and more equipped and ready the next time some type of outside influence tries to derail you off your path. And I love Jim Rohn. So if you don't listen to him, go find him. He's way better at this stuff than we are. So third-party authority, go listen to him. But before you do that, tell someone about our podcast because we really do appreciate it, because we are There's no sponsors or anything here. But writing and sharing really does help us get our message out. So we're appreciative of that. And Tommy, I love this journey that we're on. I don't know where it's going. I don't know what's going to turn into, but I'm having a lot of fun.
Yeah, me too. And I think we're picking up some cool feedback and getting some cool influence along the way. I think we're helping some people and just having a lot of fun. So thank you guys for joining us, and please keep giving us feedback too, because we really love reading it.
Cool. All right, sir. Let's wrap this thing up. You have a good night.
Cool. You too. Bye.
All right. Bye.
So, you've heard today's episode, and you may be wondering, where do I start? Head on over to thefastingforlife.com and sign up for our newsletter, where you'll receive fasting tips and strategies to maximize results and fit fasting into your day-to-day life.
While you're there, download your free Fast Start guide to get started today. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure to leave us a 5-star review, and we'll be back next week with another episode of Fasting for Life.